which is it one thing you still regret doing it? A few years ago some friends and I went to a comedy show at a big theater. As we left we made our way to the parkade and we were joined in the elevator by a dude who was just beaming. I mean ear to ear smile. A little spring in step. The works. As we ride to the top floor he looks around and spits out, "Damn what a show, eh?" For some reason I didn't say anything. I looked at my friends and it seemed they were straight up ignoring him. And as I thought of something to say the moment passed and I couldn't bring myself to break the silence. When no one piped up this guy's whole demeanor changed. He slowly slouched. The gleam faded from his eye, that smile slipped right off, and he didn't look up from the floor once. He went from looking like the king of the world to the most defeated sad man I've ever seen. I'm not normally that guy who doesn't know what to say or who ignores strangers. But for some reason it broke that dude. Turns out my friends just didn't hear him. That transformation still haunts me. Bro, if you're out there, yes, the show was a shit. Getting morbidly obese. I no longer am, but some damage is done. I feel that most other mistakes I made can be reversed or mitigated, except this one. Same here. I was obese my whole life. Now at 29, I'm just overweight. But I have a herniated disc in my low back, and my knees sound like those of a 50-plus-year-old. I have to keep telling myself that it's better late than never, and that I would be in much more pain if I had kept living the way I was. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm more optimistic about my future than I've ever been. Not accepting that some disabilities come with natural limitations and that figuring out how to work around them is key, rather than boneheadedly insisting there is no limitation until you are forced to concede. Only now you're in a situation with no accommodations and no workaround/treatment, personally or professionally, for your limitations. Not working hard enough through school. I always did just enough. I got by with average grades, never pushed myself to work harder to get the top grades which I see now I was fully capable of. I just needed to apply myself and work a bit harder. Now I'm at uni, through quite a bit of luck, because my A levels were horrific, and I'm determined to turn it around and make something of the chance I've now got. I didn't take college seriously. I was just going through the motions and never graduated. Now all my closest friends have their careers and are making a good living, while I'm stuck in mediocrity. I never thought about the future back then and it hurt me big time. I'm 1000 steps behind everyone else. This is me right now. But I start school again in a month. After 6 years. What pushed me to go back is that I'm simply tired of customer service jobs. I can't do it anymore. The pay isn't enough and people are annoying. I'm ready to step into a new phase in my life. Not exact words, but a quote I like keeping in mind goes something like, "The best time was 20 years ago. The second best time is now." This was many years ago when I was a little kid on a holiday with my parents. We went camping, and, being the social kid I was, I made friends quickly. We connected through our Game Boys and tried out all the games we had. He borrowed me his cartridge of the Pokemon trading card game so I could play at my own tent. I loved it. When it was time for us to go back home again I totally forgot it was still in my Gamma Boy. I said goodbye, got in the car, and fell asleep since it was a long drive to my hometown. When we got back I obviously grabbed my Game Boy again, only to notice I accidentally left his cartridge in it. I felt so bad. I was scared he thought I had stolen it from him, since he knew I liked the game so much. Being scared my mother would be angry I never explained the situation. I hid the game and never played it again. To this day I'm extremely aware of my stuff, especially when I have used other people's things. It's such a silly little thing, but I absolutely still regret it many years later. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I snapped at my dad for getting me the wrong video game, and I can still see the disappointment in his face. Haunts me to this day. This is probably good for you actually. I remember a lot of the little shitty things I said and did as a child, and how regretting them has led me to try and be a more conscientious person. That I didn't study enough back when I was in school. I had a classmate back in school who was crazy smart as a kid, was in the gifted program in elementary school, and was so creative. He kind of fell in with the wrong crowd in junior high and started to do the whole teenage rebellion thing along with drinking and smoking a lot of pot. I remember in our junior year of high school he was in a contest with his friends over who could get the lowest GPA and not get held back. I think he was 1.5 or something. Just thought it was so edgy and funny to not try at all and piss off all the teachers who saw his potential and tried to help him. After high school, he went nowhere. Minimum wage jobs and all the cool friends he had in school were in the same boat. When he finally woke up, it had been like 11 years since graduation, and he felt completely hopeless. He committed suicide a few years ago. Sorry for depressing comment, but just wanted to say, although I'm not in the same boat, I remember how much I wanted him to try, and how much hurt and regret he seemed to feel as the years went on. I always hoped that he would find a way to make up for it with adult education or a vocational program. I hope that you can find a way to move forward and not hate yourself for stupid decisions you made as a kid, or become hopeless thinking there are no possibilities. Believing the doctor when he said I was a late bloomer at 17. Attending university having not gone through puberty is not fun. Had to wait until I was 23 until I was diagnosed correctly with Kalman syndrome. Similar. Believing my doctor when he said my lupus was just depression and that my intracranial hypertension was just stress. I wish I'd pushed harder about thinking he was wrong, because that's 7 years of having a much lower quality of life than necessary that I won't get back. You're too young for this constipation to be anything. Take laxatives. Turned out I have stage 4 colon cancer at 33. Cool. I spent years 23-ish with extreme depression and social anxiety. Dropped out of college BC panic attacks and shame. Had wildly uncontrollable incessant thoughts. I'm 27 now. I'm finally becoming who I've always wanted to be. I don't think I would be this person had I not experienced my huge bout of debilitating depression. I went back to school and have a career now. I'm on my town gov board. I love meeting people and I love being the center of attention now. These things stemmed from me finally bringing me that I had become in my mind into reality. That took a lot of work and patience and getting back on the horse after falling off and seemingly being dragged through the mud. I make music, I garden, I paint. These things stemmed directly from depression, and I'm grateful and understanding that depression, while it definitely sucks, has its own purpose and uniqueness that really does create the best empathy and perspective. Keep powering through. You'll make it. I had negative money in the bank in my 20s. Now I'm 39 and things are way different. It can be better if you hang in there. What did you do to change that? I realized that my current situation at the time was the cumulative result of all the decisions I made up to that point. Going out, not going to class, spending money on things I didn't need, smoking, drinking, etc. I basically grew up and realized that I wasn't gonna leave college and immediately have the dopest job with all the financial security in the world, and I didn't blame anyone for anything. Now I have a mentality that I will do the things I need to do before I do the things I want to do. I also don't worry about the system being so shitty and instead think about how I can best flourish in it the way it is. I quit smoking cold turkey. That was difficult. I looked for contract jobs, think temp jobs or internships that I could use to add valuable skills to my resume. I took retail and restaurant jobs that some people might think they are above when they have college experience to get the bills paid. Restaurant jobs are great, by the way. As a server, you can show up to work on your day off in uniform and someone will always want to go home and let you work the shift for them. With that I was working a lot of hours, but I was single and didn't have kids. I still didn't have a ton of money, but I was able to stop overdrafting my checking account and my bills were getting paid on time. And never ever quit a job, even one you hate, without having another one lined up to take its place. Over time, the skills from one job can help you get a different and better one. And that one can add even more to your skill set, which helps you get an even better one down the road. It's all about marketing yourself. Eventually, in my case 15 years, my life is totally different. A wife, 2 kids, a house, 0 credit card debt, 5 student loan payments left to make, retirement savings, and we can pretty much anything we want without having to worry about money. You have got a mesky from Sad Harold. Like and subscribe to be unsad.